Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Game Hammer Extra, and today we're continuing with the PlayStation collection. See a bit of it behind me just here. Let's get in when we have a look at all the games that begin with B. And we're back, and you'll have to excuse the fact that the lighting is a bit different this time because my studio lights are out filming something else, so I've got to make do. But we're back with the PlayStation 2 collection, and we're into B today, so let's get started with one of the worst games on the PlayStation. So, this is Babe. It's by Blast, as you can tell. It's going to be a bit bad. This game is awful. It looks like an Amiga game that's been ported over to the PlayStation. It is one of the worst things you will see. Isometric 3D in an age where proper 3D could exist. Really bad puzzles. Basically, they've gone through the point of view of, well, this is for really young children, so we don't need much effort. Sorry guys, you do need to put effort in. It doesn't get any better with the second game either. Backyard Wrestling, don't try this at home. This one's not for kids, as you can probably imagine, it's for idiots. It's a really, really poor wrestling game. More hardcore than ever, it says, but oh my goodness, it is not good. However, it was successful enough that there's a second one, Backyard Wrestling 2, There Goes the Neighborhood, which apparently has the insane clown posse in it. I'm sorry guys, but good grief, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? They were thinking, let's cash in on this crap. I think they were very, very bad boys for that. Terrible segue, I know, but I couldn't resist it. Bad Boys 2, based on the film, and you know what? It's so memorable that I can't remember a thing about it. Let's have a quick zoom in on it. What is it? I don't know, some sort of Grand Theft Auto style? I honestly couldn't tell you. It's been so long since I played it, and that's how memorable it is. But don't worry, because the next one is one of the best games on the system, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. I never actually had this on PlayStation back when it was out. I had the Xbox version instead, and my goodness, I adored it. It's basically, what if we had Diablo, but it was Dungeons and Dragons? And people like that so much that there is a second one. This one's really difficult to get because people that buy it, they tend to hold on to it. It's a really, really good game. Pretty much more of the same. Diablo, that kind of game. Great. If you have a chance, get it because it is worth it. What's not quite as worth it is Band Hero. Now, like I said in the previous video, if there's something popular on the PlayStation 2, there are lots and lots of it. Band Hero is a spin-off of Guitar Hero, as you might expect. It's just not that good. Then we have Barbarian. Now, I was hoping that this would be an updated version of the old classic game from the 8-bit era, but it is and it isn't. It's an oddity. Barbarian is a 3D brawler. It's a bit like Golden Axe if it was in 3D. It's not bad. I enjoyed it when I played it, but it's not brilliant. So, yeah. It's a bit of a disappointment. But what wasn't a disappointment was Barbie as the Island Princess. I am, of course, joking because, oh dear. This is cheap tat for kids. It really is. It's a children's game for little girls, and I'm not sure they would be very happy with it. But surprisingly enough, there is a better Barbie game. And it's Barbie Horse Adventures Riding Camp. Yeah, I kid you not, Barbie Horse Adventures and Barbie Horse Adventures Wild Horse Rescue, these are actually not bad. If you're into horse riding or your kids like horse riding, these are good, clean, wholesome fun that are worth giving a try. Basically, pet your horses, clean up for your horses, ride your horses, that kind of thing. It's just how it is. And then we have Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses, which was so memorable that I actually just plugged it in to see if it would work, and then ejected the game. It's aimed for very young girls, it's not my thing. But what is my thing is the Bard's Tale, an updated version of the original. Yes and no. The original was an absolute classic. This is basically, what if we took Diablo and Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and made the Bard's Tale version of it? It's hilarious. Some of the narration is absolutely hilarious, but the game isn't quite up to Baldur's Gate levels. Very good though. If you get a chance, give this a try. Then we have The Barnyard, which was surprisingly difficult to get hold of. I don't know whether it didn't sell a lot or a lot of copies are just damaged or thrown away because it was for kids. I don't know, but it was difficult for me to get hold of. So it's based on the Nickelodeon show, and it's a standard for children's 3D action platformer. That's pretty much all I can say about it. It's not terrible, it's not great either. Okay, now we have the first of the Age Tech games. Age Tech are a budget manufacturer. They don't produce a huge amount of games. They're very low print run from what I can tell. They're budget, and they're not brilliant, but you kind of get what you pay for with a budget one, so I'm not going to be too harsh on it. It's a basketball game. It calls itself Basketball Exciting. It's basketball. It's not that exciting, I'll tell you that. You can see it looks decent enough. It plays kind of alright, but it's not brilliant. Then we get another one of Age Tech. It's Bassmaster Fishing. It's a fishing game, fishing simulator, and yeah, you can tell it's a fishing game. A bit dull, to be honest with you. Not one of my favourites. Again, if there's something that's popular on the PlayStation 2, you get lots of it. So we now have Bass Strike. Or Bass Strike, in fact. We're not picking up musical instruments here, it's fish. It's another fishing game. They're all much of a muchness, to be honest with you. If you've got one, you've probably played them all. They're just different implementations, the same thing. Then we have Batman Begins. One of several Batman games on the PlayStation 2, this one based on the film. It's not quite Arkham, let's put it that way. It's not a bad game, it's not terrible, it's not brilliant. It's kind of middle of the road, it's a film tie-in, you know what you're getting when you go into these things. Then we have Batman Rise of Sun Tzu. Is that how you pronounce it? Sun Tzu? I don't know. I'm not very good with Chinese. My ability to pronounce Chinese is not brilliant. But here we are, Batman Rise of Sun Tzu. It's one of the middling Batman games on the PlayStation 2. It's not terrible, it's not brilliant, but it is based on the animated series, which is pretty nice. It looks pretty good. Then we have Batman Vengeance. And this one is actually one from my original collection. This is from before I started properly collecting PlayStation 2 games. Batman Vengeance. It's not brilliant. I have to admit that I bought this thinking, oh, I fancy a Batman game because the Spider-Man games that I played on the PlayStation 1 were pretty good, so hopefully Batman will be just as good. That's not the way to buy games. It really isn't, because it's alright, but it's just lacking something, and I'm not sure how to describe what it's lacking. It just doesn't feel right. It's not that good a Batman game. The controls are alright, I suppose. The boss battles aren't great. I think it's the level design that really knocks it down, and the design of the boss battles. It wasn't fantastic, but I played a fair amount of it back in the day because I didn't have a huge amount of PlayStation 2 games. Let's put it this way. Back before I started collecting, I had about 20 games in total, and when I picked this up, I probably had about 10 or 12. So it got a lot of play just because I didn't have much else. And yeah, I could have done a lot better by going for one of the others. Next up we have Battle Engine Aquila, or Aquila. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one again. The cover always intrigued me, I have to admit. I went for this mostly because the cover looked great, and it's a giant robot game. It's actually pretty good fun. So if you get a chance to get a copy of this, give it a try. Next up we have the first of the Battlefield games that are on the PlayStation 2. It's a first-person shooter, modern combat game. So it's Battlefield. You know what you're getting into with the Battlefield games. It's, yeah, it's action-packed. Not bad. I actually quite enjoyed this one. Then we have Battlestar Galactica. And this one was surprisingly good. I didn't expect a huge amount because I'm not a fan of Battlestar Galactica, but this was a decent space game. The combat was decent. I had a fair bit of fun with it. So if you're into Battlestar Galactica, give it a try. And then we have B-Boy. What on earth is B-Boy, you might be asking? Is it basketball? Is it dancing? Yeah, it's a dance battle game. It's weird. That's as much as I can say. It is weird. Very hard to play. Really difficult for me to have understood what was going on at the time when I tried it. So yeah, it's just odd. So next up we have Battle Construction Vehicles, another one from Midas. And this is weird. If you think Twisted Metal Black, yeah, if you think Twisted Metal Black but not as good, you've pretty much got Battle Construction Vehicles. B-movie game. They actually called it B-movie game, not the B-movie or anything like that. Yeah, they put a lot of effort into that title and about as much effort into the game itself. Standard fare for a kids-aimed film tie-in. Not brilliant. Then we have Ben 10 Alien Force. Now this is how you make a tie-in game for kids. These games are side-scrolling, slightly 3D action games. And Ben 10, it's not a show I ever watched, but Alien Force and Protector of Earth, there is a third one if I remember correctly, but I haven't got it. These games are fantastic. I kid you not, get a copy of these if you ever get a chance. They're brilliant to play. Then we have Beverly Hills Cop. Now this came out many years after the film. It does not feature Eddie Murphy. As you can tell from the fact that he is not even on the cover. The main character kind of looks like him, but really doesn't for basically image rights reasons. The controls are terrible. It's from first-person perspective. It's an awful game. I played it on a live stream of the worst PlayStation 2 games in my collection, and everyone agreed, yes, I had picked some very bad games. Then we have one that everyone knows, Beyond Good and Evil. It's great. Action, puzzle, platformer, brilliant game. Absolutely adore it. Most people have already got a copy of this if they're interested in that kind of game. So yeah, funnily enough, it's not from my original collection. I never had a copy. Then we have the Bible game. Now you'll notice that this is in Italian. There's a reason it's in Italian. You cannot, for the love of anything, get a hold of a copy of the English version of this game. It does exist. It's just really hard to get. It's a low seller in the UK. Far easier to get the Italian version, which plays in English. You can just do the language select, because PAL regions, we all got the same stuff. So, funnily enough, this is a quiz game with a lot of party game elements to it. So it's kind of a mix between Buzz and Mario Party. And if that sounds odd, but kind of intriguing, you will find that this game is actually really good fun. I'm not a Christian, I'll tell you that straight off, but I enjoyed playing this game. Yeah. Funnily enough, I recommend the Bible game. Next up, we have Big Mother Truckers. Now, I was hoping when I picked this up that it would be a bit like 18-Wheeler. It's not. It's kind of 18-Wheeler and kind of not, and the kind of Burnout at the same time. It's a weird game, but it was popular enough that there's a sequel, Big Mother Truckers 2, Truck Me Harder. Yeah, you can tell by the cover and the really stupid tagline there that this is the level they're aiming at. If you like that kind of thing, go for it. Then we have Biker Mice from Mars. Now, this is a TV show that passed me by. I was there for the start of the Turtles and Turtle Mania, and then quickly got out of cartoons. So this one passed me by. The Biker Mice from Mars show, I have no idea what it's about. I'm assuming that the bikers are mice from Mars. The game, it's got 15 levels, and it feels mostly like it was starting out as a racer that got other open world style elements added to it. It's not that good. Give it a try if you're interested in the franchise, but leave it aside if you're not. Then we have Bionicle and Bionicle Heroes. Not not bad. They're not as good as the Ben 10 ones in terms of making something of the original franchise. They're 3D action platformers. They're not bad. I enjoyed playing them, but they're not as good as the Ben 10 ones. So, yeah. But if you like Bionicle, these are the games for you. They're not that bad. But going from one that's not that bad to one that is amazing, here is Black. This is the best first-person shooter on the PlayStation 2. Hands down, it is the best. It's fantastic. If you don't already have a copy of this in your set, get it. Simple as that. Then we have Black and Bruised, which, oh my goodness. Right, see in the bottom corner here, Majesco, that's a sign that basically it was usually picked up from someone else that wasn't producing stuff anymore. Majesco, I know them mainly for the guys that took over making the Game Gear after Sega pulled out. It's that kind of production company. It's, you know, Ready to Rumble Boxing? Well, this is kind of the knockoff version. It's not bad. In fact, it's kind of fun at times, but it's not brilliant. Then we have Midas again with Black Market Bowling. It's another bowling game from another budget publisher, and it's about as good as you might expect. The controls are terrible. The graphics don't look great. Avoid it. Then we have Blade 2. It's a film tie-in, and it's not very good. The level design is poor. The controls are decent. And the storyline isn't bad, but the levels really, really pull this down. It's just one of those annoying things. It could have been great, but it isn't. Then we have one of the Legacy of Kain series. Now, I have to admit that the Legacy of Kain series passed me by. I didn't have a PlayStation 1 back in the day. I was a PC gamer until Grand Theft Auto 3 was announced for PS2, and then I moved into the PlayStation 2 ready to get Grand Theft Auto 3. So Legacy of Kain, when it was a big deal, passed me by. So as a result, I only picked up Blood Omen 2 because I'm going for a complete PS2 set. It's not bad. I can see why people liked them. It's just one that really didn't grab me too much. It's kind of, it's not bad, but it's not as good as what people seem to make the series out to be. Next up, we have two games that really angered me at the time. Here's Blood Rain. And here's Blood Rain 2. And if you give me a moment, here's Durham Red. Can you see the similarity? This is a comic. It's from 2000 AD. It's really influential. And she looks the bloody same. There was a court battle, or at least there was going to be. I don't know whether it actually went to court in the end, because 2000 AD thought they'd been ripped off, and to be honest with you, I can see why. Leather-clad vampire, uses big blades, has the same haircut, same look, the same feel to her. Yeah, there's something a bit fishy going on there, at least in my view. But like I say, I don't think it ever actually went to court, but they did start legal proceedings. So, are these games worth picking up? They kind of want to be Devil May Cry, but they're not quite as good. If you're into that kind of game, they're not bad. The second one is probably a bit more refined than the first, but either way, just pick up whatever. Then we have Blood Will Tell. Now this is a game to get. It's weird. It starts out where I'm trying to make sure that I've got the right gaming. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. You start out as a guy who's got parts of him missing. He's got loads of missing body parts, and you've got to go and collect them by beating the crap out of the devils and demons that stole your parts, like your eyes, your arms, things like that. It is so good. It's one of the best games that I ever played in the action brawler Devil May Cry style of game. Get this if you can. It is quite tough to get and it's quite expensive at times, but if you get the chance, pick it up. It is so good. Then we have Bloody Roar 3. Right, what can I say about Bloody Roar? It's well, it's a fighting game. If you like your fighting games, you'll probably like this. It's visceral at times. It's not bad. It's not too memorable though. That's its big problem. When you put this up against something like Tekken or any of the SNK games, it kind of pales in comparison. But on its own, it's not a bad game. Give it a try. I mean, it's the third one. It must have been popular. The less said about this pile of crap, the better. This game is basically, what if we did Tony Hawk's but with BMXs? And then what if we did it so badly in terms of our controls and gameplay that we had to sell the game based on sex? Yeah, that's the level. Avoid. It's crap. So how do we move on from such a terrible game? Well, we could play Bob the Builder. This is an iToy game, and it's actually not as bad as you might think. It's not brilliant, but yeah, you have generic iToy controls and a few bits of fun, but it's really for little kids, and it shows. So let's move on to Bombastic. Now, this is an odd one. It's by Capcom. It's it's a puzzle game involving lots of explosions, and it's not Bomberman. It's just really odd. It's hard to describe, but it's well worth playing. If you get a chance, pick it up because it's actually a lot of fun. Then we have Bomberman Hardball. This, it's a tennis game. I kid you not, it's a tennis game. You can tell by the tennis rackets on the front. But it does have some Bomberman levels, so avoid the tennis part and play the Bomberman bit because the Bomberman stuff is actually good. So we've got Classic Bomberman, Tennis Bomberman, Baseball Bomberman, and Golf Bomberman. The Classic one is the only part to play. Then we have Bomberman Kart. Because, as I said earlier on, and I'll keep saying throughout this series, if something is popular, there are lots of them on the PlayStation 2. Bomberman Kart is Mario Kart with Bomberman characters. It's actually pretty damn good. I would recommend Mario Kart any day, but if you can't get Mario Kart, get Bomberman Kart. Then we have Boogie. Boogie is a SingStar game. Yes. It looks like it's a dancing game, doesn't it? But it's SingStar compatible. It's a rhythm game. It's a singing rhythm game. It's... yeah. Oh dear. One of the last games on the Wii. Then we have The Bouncer. Now this one is from my original set. It's one of the few games I had on my original set. I picked it up because the main character is supposed to be from Dead or Alive. I thought, well, maybe it'll be a similar style of game. Oh dear. So, what we have is, well, it's an action RPG. It's not what I was expecting, and as a result, I didn't play it a huge amount. But at the same time, it's not bad if you're into that sort of action fighting RPG style game. But yeah, moving on. We have Bowling Exciting. Didn't we already do this? It's another one of the age tech ones. We had Basketball Exciting, and now we have Bowling Exciting, and it's about as good as it sounds. Boxing Champions by Midas. Another boxing game, not as good as Ready to Rumble, certainly not as good as the Fight Night series. Avoid. Next up we have Bratz Forever Diamonds and Bratz Girls Really Rock, which was really difficult to get a hold of. I'm going to put that there. You can hardly see it. It won't matter. Then we have Bratz the Movie. And then we have Bratz Rock Angels. They're all practically the same game. They're all awful, awful games. They're all worth avoiding. Funnily enough, though, some of these are hard to get. The Movie was hard to get. Girls Really Rock was hard to get. None of them were worth the effort. It says here, free Super Top Trumps card inside, but guess what? It's not there. Ugh, oh my goodness, they were terrible, terrible games, terrible. Save me from the terrible games. Up next, Brave, The Search for Spirit Dancer. This is brilliant. It's a kind of 3D action platformer game. Really good controls, really good style to it. Graphically, it's great. The levels are fun. This is a fun game. It's a surprise that more people aren't talking about it because we have Ratchet and Clank and things like that. They were great. This was kind of lost at the side when they were in the big glut of games of that style. Well worth playing though. After that, we have Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter, standard JRPG, really good fun to play. Surprisingly gets overlooked a fair amount though, so if you're into your JRPGs, definitely pick this one up. Then we have Brian Lara Cricket 2005. And 2007. No, 2006. So these two, well, it's cricket. Not much else I can say about it. They're good cricket games. If you're into cricket, these are good ones to pick up. I'm not into cricket. Then we have Brothers in Arms, Earned in Blood. And I'm pretty sure I have some more Brothers in Arms, but I don't know where they've gone. Here it is, Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30. It had been put on the wrong pile when I was stacking these to talk about. So, first-person shooters, really good. If you're into your warfare style of games, these are great. By Gearbox, so you know that they've pretty much got the mechanics down for that kind of game, unless it's called Aliens Colonial Marines. How bad did they mess up with that? Great games, well worth picking up. After that we have Broken Sword, The Sleeping Dragon. Now if I remember correctly, this is like a point-and-click style game. It's been a while since I played it. No, it's not. It is a bit more... Well, it's a bit more like Tomb Raider-y Resident Evil style, isn't it? With the way it works. Not a bad game at all. Definitely one I've got to go and play again because I thought it was something different. So yeah, give this a try if you get a chance. Broken Sword. And then, oh my goodness, it's Britney's Dance Beat. It's a rhythm game. It's actually surprisingly good in how it handles it. It's, yeah, I'm surprised to say that. When I played it, I thought, actually, this isn't bad. I was expecting it to be terrible, but the mechanics really work quite well. So yeah, surprising one, that. Okay, we're coming up to the end of the set now for this, so let's move on with Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds. Now, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer game is exclusive to the Xbox, and we'll be covering that in a different series. This one is a sequel. It's not as good. It's really unfortunate that this is the one that was more widely available on the PS2, because the original is better. It's not a terrible game, but it's not a patch on the original. Then we have the Burnout series. Now here's the thing about Burnout. The original one, it was a GameCube launch title. It's also available on the Xbox. And I have all three versions. Burnout on the PS2 is a weird middle ground one. The GameCube one is really difficult. It's certainly designed to be the most challenging, and it's actually the best version. The Xbox one, graphically very impressive, but it's far too easy to win, and the PlayStation 2 is the one that tried to strike the balance between the two. I am not kidding. If you play all three, you will see the difference very, very quickly. So, the PlayStation 2 one, it's good. And certainly if you want a bit of a challenge but not too much, it's the one to go for, but the GameCube version beats it. So I would recommend actually getting Burnout 2. Very similar game, but it's actually a little bit better. Then we have Burnout 3, which is possibly my favourite of the set. I have to admit. Burnout 3, oh my goodness. I adored playing it. It's so, so good. I plugged it in. I don't know if it's a cartridge. I put it in to test it when I first got it, and an hour later I was thinking, actually I should probably go and do some work. It's that good. Really great. Then we have Burnout Revenge, which wasn't quite as good, and Burnout Dominator, which again wasn't quite as good. The third one is the one that really, really made it. Then we have Buster Block. What is this? It's an odd Arkanoid style game. Yeah. Then we have But Ugly Martians, Zoom or Doom. This is bad. There are no two ways about it. This is a bad game. It's slow. It's supposed to be a racing game, but it's slow and it's clunky, and Crazy Frog is better. I kid you not, Crazy Frog is better. Let's move on, because we have, oh my goodness, Buzz, the big quiz. Buzz, the Hollywood quiz. Buzz, the mega quiz. Buzz, the music quiz. Buzz, the pop quiz. Buzz, the schools quiz, which is one of the hardest games to get on the system. And Buzz, the sports quiz. All of these games are fantastic. Personally, I would go for the big quiz or the mega quiz, because they're like the general knowledge, family ones, but all of them are superb. They've all got iToy compatibility as well, so on occasion it'll go, and they're iToy compatible, and then it'll show you as you're playing it on the screen inside the game. It's brilliant. It's the epitome of a Saturday night quiz show game on television. It has a brilliant feel to it. They're great fun. I play this at parties all the time and everyone has a fantastic time. Get some of these games and some buzzers. You will love it at a party. It's great. But they always have to spoil a good thing. So we have Buzz Jr. Ace Racers, which uses the Buzz controllers to try and control a racing game, and it doesn't work. We have Buzz Jr. Dino Den, which again, let me turn around so you can see it. It's dinosaur-themed party games using the Buzz controllers, and it just doesn't work. Buzz Jr. Jungle Party, another party set of games with using the Buzz controllers, again, just doesn't work. Buzz Jr. Monster Rumble. Now this is a bit different. This one tries to use it as a party game, but also to navigate around a map, if I remember correctly. It works better than the others, but it's still not quite there. It would have been better with a standard controller. And finally, for the Bs, we have Buzz Jr. Robo Jam. Again, party games using the Buzz controls kind of works on this one, but really could have been better with a standard controller. And that's all the Bs. That's the end of today's video. I'll see you next time when we move on to C. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. It's a shorter one than last time, but I'm going to take it in chunks so that we get through this and you don't get bogged down with massive videos. I hope you did enjoy it. I'll see you next time. Bye! If you liked today's video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. And an extra special thanks goes out to Chief89 and Tepic. Thank you.